Okay, so today I want to talk to you about, um, well, I have two things, but we're going to focus on the one today, and that is how God judges you. Let's talk about judgment. The world is a very intense place, which means that people judge you all the time for what you do, what you eat, how you dress, how you look, how you talk. Um, and when you're being judged all the time, a lot of times it puts you in a position to feel like you're not worthy or you're not worth it because of what the society has to say. So when it comes to Jesus, one of the reasons why um, I love my walk with Jesus, I love the relationship I have with Jesus, is because he doesn't judge you off of who you are, what you do. He judged you off your heart. So I know a lot of people hear that and it's like, well, what does that mean? Like, who I am is my heart. Not necessarily. Your heart is the things that you care deeply about. Okay? So if you care deeply about other people, God is going to judge you about caring about other people. If you have hatred in your heart, God is going to judge you based on the hatred in your heart. Um, So it's important that you, whenever you have something that you have a dislike or disgust feeling about, or it just puts you in a negative headspace, most likely you're putting yourself in a position for that to become near and dear to you. And so you want to pray that away, or you want to ask God to remove that from your heart, um, so that it does not become who you are. It does not show up in your character. It does not show up in your morals. You don't want anything like that to change who you are as a person. And if you are that type of person and you don't like what you see, you can ask God to remove those things so that you can become the person that you really want to be. You know, I've heard people say all the time, well, I really want to be good, but like, I don't know how to do that. It's okay. God can change you. That's what makes him great. So when you hear they say God can mold you into greatness, that's what that means. That means he can take away those things that you don't like about yourself or that he finds displeasing. And with your permission, he can remove those things from you and make you a new person. So don't feel bad if you're not going to church every Sunday and you want to go, but you just don't have the strength or the will or the courage to go. It's okay. Just pray and ask God to, remove those things from your heart. But also know that he's not judging you off of going to church every day. Um, Going to church is about fellowshipping with those that are like you. So it's kind of hard to go to church every day if you're at a church that you don't feel comfortable at, or if you feel judged. So be mindful of the church that you attend. If you're not sure, if you're not comfortable at the place you are, pray and ask God to send you somewhere, direct you, put you in a direction. Or maybe it's because you aren't really heavily participating in church, or you don't know how to be a part of that church, like you feel like an outsider. Ask God to guide you through that process, and he'll either send someone your way to help you get more acquainted with the church, to the true roots of that church, or he'll send you to one that is more accepting and will make you feel more comfortable spiritually and spiritually grow within that church. So um, if you miss a Sunday or two, don't feel bad. God does not judge you based on what you do. He judges you based on what's in your heart. And that is important that you understand that. So, and the reason why I bring this up, because I know my daughter was struggling with this just this week. She really wanted to go to church, but she also had to work. And so she was like, well, I could go and then leave early, or this and that, or I can't go because of this. And it really concerned her. And I made it very clear to her. I said, God is not going to judge you based on going to church. So if you can't go, it's okay that you can't go. He judges you on your heart. So the fact that you have the desire to want to go and be present, he understands that you want to, fellowship and worship him. And he's going to take that into heart. And that's what he's going to judge you off of. So, Anybody out there that struggle, I struggled with this for a long time too, especially when God took me out of church. I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be bad. But it's not, because that's not what he judges us off of. It's okay to miss Sunday here or there, you know, because when you go to church, you don't want to be distracted by your feelings. You want to be clear-minded, so that if there is a message there for you to receive or to hear and understand and to use and put in practice, then you want to be able to hear that message and you want to be able to understand it. And if our mind is on other things while we're there, then we're not benefiting ourselves and we're not giving God the time that we thought we were giving him. So he would rather you isolate yourself, spend time with him alone, so that he can focus on the things that are bothering you and clear that out of your mind and out of your heart, and then get you in a position to where you can be around others. Because our emotions, spiritual emotions, are contagious. And what I consider spiritual emotions are the emotions that you can't get from worldly things, like joy, peace, wisdom. Those are emotions that we feel that are not given to us by going to work. You're not gonna getting a paycheck makes you happy. It doesn't give you joy. Being able to have a sound mind of sleep makes you relaxing, makes you relax. It does not give you peace. Peace is when you're in a position to feel confident in where you are in that moment, in that time in your life, and it allows you to be calm, to have a calming state, so that you can move forward and do things that brings you joy. So those are spiritual. You can only get those things through spiritual guidance and spiritual acceptance. So don't feel bad if you aren't able, or you don't feel like you can go to church every Sunday. Don't let that stop you on your journey. Don't say, well, I can't go to church, or I'm not going to church, so I can't have a relationship with God. That's not true. You can still have a relationship with God. The activities or the tasks that the world does, once you find Christ and you give your life and you dedicate your life to God, you will start going to church more. You'll start tithing. You'll start being invested in the activity side of it. But God is like, that's good. I'm glad you're doing it, but that's not what I'm judging you off of. Because you got a lot of people that go to church and do things that are displeasing to God. It's not our place to judge those people, though. That's not our job. Even if we see things that aren't okay, it's not for us to be like, hey, you're a bad person. We don't know what that person's going through. We don't know why they're doing the things that they're doing. So you want to refrain from that, because you also don't want to be put in that light as well. So you do not judge people for what they're going through, so that you're not judged by people. Trust and believe. You don't want to be judged by people when it comes to your eternal life. You want that to be the job of God and God alone, because he knows your heart. People don't know your heart. They only know what they see. And that's one thing about God, is faith is believing without seeing. So other people can't see what you believe, but God can. So that's why faith is important, because that's a true relationship that only he can identify in each of his people. You have some people that are considered devout Christians, who attend church every day, meditate. They go to Bible study, Sunday school, tithe offering. They show up every evening worship service. They do communion. They've been baptized. They read their word every day. They're devout Christians. But even though we are seeing them doing these things and they're showing up, what about their heart? What can you tell me about that person's heart? I'm not saying that every devout Christian is here, there, anywhere. I'm just letting you know the difference between the two, so that you can understand that our work through Christ is not seen on the outside. It's seen through emotional transference. So you want to make sure that you have a place in your heart that allows you to give. You have a place in your heart that allows you to worship. And when it's in your heart, when you care about those things, that's when God is going to be like, I'm pleased with your work. And if you're not, it's not necessarily saying he's not pleased with you as an individual. It's just things that you need to work on with him, and he's waiting on you to come to him to make those changes. So, the love of a parent is how I relate mostly to Christ, because I wouldn't have had that without having my children. But you see your kids and you see things that they do, and some things are okay, some things are not, and especially when they're adults, you may not always agree with what they're doing with their life or choosing to do, but that doesn't stop you from loving them. And that's how God is with us. He may not like the things that we're doing or agree with how we're living our life, but it doesn't stop him from loving us. And just like a parent, when you have a young adult, you don't just step in and tell them, no, you don't do this, you don't do that. Instead, you wait on them to either come to you, or you pray and hope and have faith that they will find someone that will help guide them, if they don't want to come to you, to go the right direction or to make the right choices. Not saying that all the choices are bad, it's just an alternative way. And so, in all of that, you're judging your kid, or you are loving your child based on what you know in their heart. Like, even though they're doing things that you wouldn't think okay, you still love them because you know what type of child you raised. You've seen the joy in them, you've seen the sunshine in them, you've seen how they bloom and blossom. So, be grateful that we are not judged by the eye of man or the way man sees us, because they don't know our heart. They don't know where our true intentions is. Even some things that we do that turn out to be bad, you may have good intentions and then you still have a bad outcome. But God's not going to judge you by the outcome. He's going to judge you about where was your heart at the time when you did this. Were you doing this from a loving standpoint? Were you doing this from a place of where you were seeking to help someone? And he's going to take that into consideration. And so while you're on this walk, while you're getting to know Jesus, have that conversation with him about your heart and how to make it pure and how to make it strong in faith, and how to encourage those things that is pleasing to him, so that you're able to be connected more with him, and give him permission to change your heart. I have been through some things. Y'all are seeing a totally different person than what I was even 5 years ago. I had a hard time I was a very strong, and I still am, very strong and stubborn, hold grudges. You've heard that word before. I've done that before, and not saying that I still don't. It's just been a while since I actually held a grudge, but it's one of those things where you have to pray those things off, like, because that's in your nature, because we are born of sin. So there are certain things that are in our nature, and when it's in our nature, the only way to remove it from us is by going to God and going to Christ and having him to remove it, because he's our maker. So if he put it in there, he can take it out. If we allow it to come in, he can also remove it. So you want to make sure that you're putting yourself in a position to be able to understand what that means. Not just understand what it means for your relationship with God, but understand what it means for your eternal life, and be okay with knowing that, I'm not doing all the right things right now, but I know I want to be good. I desire to be good, and that's what's in my heart. That's what I care about, and that's what God is going to judge me on. And through time, he will remove those things that are not okay. And through time, you will start to see the things in your heart reflect on the outside. So that's what the devout Christians come in at, is because all the things that God has worked on in them in their heart that they care about is starting to show up on the outside. So you see the dedication to the word, the dedication to church, and the dedication to communion, tithes, and offering, because you're starting to see the works of God in them show up on the outside, which makes them good examples or good witnesses for you to follow. But yeah, so today I just want you to say, if you didn't make it to church on Sunday, it's okay. just be mindful of what's in your heart, because that's what God is going to judge you on. So as long as you have a good heart, you're good. Just keep doing what you're doing, keep moving forward, and keep building that relationship with God, and y'all have a happy day.